Guys, welcome back. We're going to continue on with Project Ursula, my 2001 Porsche Boxster S. We're going to continue on with the maintenance. We're going to do the coolant expansion tank. First of all, finish off on the coils, spark plugs, get them installed, torqued. Then we'll do the coolant expansion tank. It's supposed to be a really big job. Apparently it's going to take a while and it's a lot of work, but we'll struggle through it. Anyways, we'll continue on, and welcome back. Okay, success. After a lot of struggle trying to hook up the hoses in the back behind the firewall here, I got them in. So anyways, new expansion tank is on. Caps are on. All the hoses are connected. So all the hoses are connected there. I got them connected to the base plate here. Two nuts are in. One bolt down here. One bolt up here. Let's come around here, see if we can see what was hooked up here. Okay, so up here we've got the oil fill tube is hooked up. That quick connect tube right there, I'm not sure what that was. I think it was coolant. I'm not 100% sure. All the other lines are down below. I'll show you how I connected them. It was a lot easier that way. Okay, so I'm underneath the car on the passenger side by the left axle. So you can just see the lines up here. Let me see if I can line this up. Right there, another hose there. This line here, this is the overfill that just drains out on the ground. There is the quick connect. And the oil fill tube, as you can just see it along here, which is connected from the top. But all these other ones were connected underneath, and they were a real bugger because all I got is this little gap right here. Oh, there goes my light. All I got is this little gap right here, and I tried to squeeze both hands in. Little thing that I tried that seemed to help was I sprayed the metal lines with a soapy water first, and it kind of helped a bit to slide the rubber hoses on, but it was still a bit of a struggle. So those are on. As I swing out, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but I got the cross member on as well. The new cross member is on right here. That wasn't too bad. Once the exhaust is off, which I got it off, if you notice the exhaust is off right there, it just slides right up, and then I bolted the two ends up. Okay, that's that for now. Okay, so through a lot of struggling and a lot of time, I finally got it. So the trick is when you're pulling this way with the tensioner, so you're going this way with the tensioner, I was trying to slide it over this on the alternator. So you're going over like a little lip here, and then you got to go over the teeth. So that wasn't working. So what I did is I wrapped it around here, and I left it loose here. So this is smooth and it's on the back of the belt. So as I was pulling, I got it just started on the edge on the bottom. And once I got it started, I had just enough slack that I could slide it on. And once I slid it on, then it was on. Then it was just loosen the belt enough just to slide it into the center. But it's on. A lot of struggle, but it's on. So over the alternator, under the top idler, over the power steering, over the AC, and then that goes down to the crank, up the crank, and then over the tensioner, which is this guy, over the tensioner to the lower idler, then down to the water pump, and then back up to the alternator. Anyways, what a struggle, but I got it on. So a new serpentine belt to add to the list. At least that's another thing I can check off. Okay, so it's another day. Just wanted to, before I move forward, double check, make sure there's no coolant leaks. So here's the water pump here, and here's the thermostat housing here. So last time I had a coolant leak. It was dripping out of here. So as I said before, what I did is I pulled it back off. The gasket was new, but it was still compressed because I torqued it. But because it was new, I decided to reuse it. I didn't want to go get another gasket. So I put some silicone on a gasket maker. I think it's by Permatex. I put it on both ends of the gasket and then reinstalled it and torqued it down to the required 84 inch pounds. It seems to be fine. I got coolant in, or haven't started it, and it hasn't completely filled the cooling system. I'd have to start the engine and purge the air out. So I'll know for sure then once I go through a heat cycle, but seems to be fine so far. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, next step is to install the exhaust. As you can see, the exhaust is off right from the, I think that's the exhaust manifold's right there, and then that's the catalytic converter. Yeah, it's catalytic converter. So I'll have to install the mufflers and the resonators. Before I do that, as I said before, I installed the new cross member because the old one was bent. And I gotta install, there's a brace that goes from right here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's right there, and it bolts through to these two holes here. There's one there and there's one there, so I'm going to install that now. Okay, so I don't want to portray that everything always goes perfectly fine, because it doesn't. Usually, there's always something that goes wrong. At least on my behalf, it always is. So anyways, as I said, I need to install the exhaust next. But before I do, I need to fix what broke on it came out when I disassembled it. So this side, which is the passenger side, came off fine. There's two studs that are welded to the back, right there, and then the top, the nut and bolt go the opposite direction. But this side, this is the driver's side, the bolts would not, sorry, the nuts would not come off, and as you can see, they just snapped. So I'm gonna need to grind that right down, both ends. I'll show you the back end again. Grind that down on both ends, and then I'm gonna have to drill it through and put a nut and bolt through it. Okay, I'm gonna do that off camera because I think it's just boring. It's just regular grinding and drilling. Okay, I'll get back to you in a bit. Okay, so this clamp has to be slid on first. This elbow here slides into the muffler, and you got to bring it in far enough so that, let me bring it over here. Sorry, it's kind of tight, guys. You just keep sliding this in towards the muffler until this end lines up with the catalytic converter, which is here. And once I get them lined up, like so, then this guy will slide over. So this end is up here, and this end stays on this side, and you just clamp them up and it seals up. And then this bracket here that's onto the muffler, this clamp comes from the top down, and that's what supports the weight of the cats, and then you just tighten these bolts up. So that's all I'm going to do now. Let's give it another shot. So everything's lined up except for this bracket here, and this should be pretty close. There, like so. I think I might have to come in a little more. Trying to get these lined up perfectly. Okay, that should work. I think. Okay, so I think the best thing to do would be to tighten, start from the engine out, so from the catalytic converters and work my way out, and then tighten everything else as it comes out. Okay, so I'll just snug those up. I'm gonna do the other side. It should be the same. I need to put some anti-seize on that end. Okay, so just a recap. 3 bolts here with the gasket inside, and the top bolt goes the other direction. Those guys are on. Following it along to the resonator is this bracket here that bolts onto this bracket, which is secured to the muffler, so that supports the weight. That comes around, these 2 guys are tight, around to this elbow, and then that bracket also joins that elbow to the muffler, which is here. And this side is the same thing. So back there, flange to the cat, resonator bracket, elbow over there with that clamp. So that just joins the 2 halves together and aligns them up. Coming around, and then this bracket joins this elbow to the muffler here. And they're all tight. I got NECs on them. So everything's NECs, and wherever I could change the hardware, I put on new hardware, with the anticipation that possibly in the future we may go with the aftermarket exhaust. Okay, that's it for today.